1981 Yamaha XJ550 Sika, and we are going to check the valves. First thing I'm going to do, take off the tank. Now the spark plug cables go up and get tucked out of the way. Optional step, if you want to pull the spark plugs, that's fine. On these small engines, I don't really pull the spark plugs because they're easy enough to turn over by hand, and having a little bit of pressure in there helps to keep everything together so that the engine doesn't rotate while you're working on it. So you can pull them if you want. Now we're going to get out some Allen heads and remove all these screws and take off the valve cover. Alright, all the bolts are out and this thing just sort of slides right on out of here. Now we're going to take off this left side cover on the engine, and this is what we're going to use to rotate the engine. On this bike we're going to rotate it counterclockwise. It's a 19 millimeter, I believe, something like that. And we're going to rotate it each one of these lobes around so that it is facing directly away from the valve shim in here. It's not necessarily facing directly up because these are at an angle. We want it to be facing directly away, and that's where we're going to take each of our readings with our feeler gauge. If you guys can't read that, it says here online that for the 550 the intakes want to be 11 to 15, exhaust is 16 to 20. So I've chosen a 13 and an 18 for the intake and exhaust respectively. So with the lobe in this position, you're just going to feel through here. This one is a little bit tight. Choose the next size down, and it goes in easily. So this one's between 12 and 15, and that's a little bit tight for an exhaust. Make yourself a chart like this on any spare piece of paper or whatever. So we got to pull those shims out and replace them with different sizes. How are we going to get the shims out? Well, this is the easy way to do it. Right now we're going to pull the spark plug. I'm starting on number 1, so I'm going to pull the number 1 spark plug. Now I'm going to rotate it so that the lobe is pushing all the way down on the shim, so it's in the opposite position from where it was where I took the reading. Right down here in the spark plug hole, if you look with your flashlight, you can see the very tip of the valve right there. And what I'm going to do is take this little plastic dongle, which is just a zip tie that's been folded in half and taped, and I'm going to insert it right in there so it catches on the lip of the valve, and then we're going to rotate this back so the valve's going to close, but it's going to be stuck on the little plastic piece, so it's going to stay open. So you can see it's stuck in there, and now we can fish out the shim. To do that we use tiny little tools. A lot of guys use hemostats. I don't have any on hand, so I'm just going to use this little straight-headed poker and try and grab it with my needle nose. See how that works. But first, it's important to demagnetize your tools, because you don't want to magnetize accidentally your shim, because then it will hold on to little shards of metal, and it will wear down the lobes. So what I have here is a magnetizer, demagnetizer, and all you do is go like that to demagnetize. There, now that one's demagnetized. So then it just plucks right out. A word of warning: if you guys use your wife's eyebrow tweezers, you will be sleeping on the couch. So we're going to read the number on the shim. This is 250, and we're going to record it on our chart, and then we put it back. Remember that the number side with the numbers on it goes down. So this whole process is going to get repeated for all of the shims that were out of spec. And so finally, if you happen to own a bike with a very dedicated forum, you can look around and maybe online you'll find one of these. This is a chart that tells you, for instance, here's all the shim numbers up here. So let's say you have like a 230 shim in here, and you find that the gap is, 0.41 to 0.45, and you follow that down, and that tells you what size shim you need to replace that one with. So I know my shim numbers, and I know my gaps. I'm going to look on here, find all the shims that I need, order them, and then just throw them into the place where they need to be.